So, y'all ready to talk about this chapter? Y'all ready to get into that real shit? Because I'm going to be honest. I'm ready to talk about some real shit. Urana Sensei, I kneel. Thank you for making a side character one of the coldest characters in the series, and it being during a mini arc at that. Thank you for giving us an exposition that transcends a lot of manga that are out today. Seriously. A side character. Anyway, I died. Wait a minute. Yo, to those of y'all that were like, no, bro, it's Rudo's Jinky, bro. It's not Follows. Y'all still here? Y'all still want to talk about that? Didn't think so. Now, let's move on to business as usual. Just had to get that out of my system. Follow has some of the coldest hero shots we've seen in this manga since, well, Rudo. This chapter was filled to the brim with some delectable art, and not to mention the narrative tie-ins really had me salivating. Not gonna lie. What's going on, everybody? DomoSenpai here, and today we'll be going over chapter 127 of Gachiakuta. Man, the fact that we are 127 chapters in and this shit is still peak, gotta love it. But if y'all are new to the channel, man, and have yet to subscribe, make sure y'all do the usual. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and subscribe to the best Gachiakuta channel on the planet. And did y'all notice when I say hit the subscribe button that the button literally lights up? I always thought that that was a cool concept. Maybe that's why y'all don't subscribe, so y'all can see that thing down there. Anyway, help your boy get to 10,000 subscribers. We are closing in at a rapid pace. Join in before things go even further beyond the scope of what we ever imagined over here at Senpai's realm. Now, with all of the pleasantries out of the way, let's... Urana starts the chapter off from the perspective of Tomzy, which, not gonna lie, I like that shit, because seeing the inner Tomzy really enhanced my thought process of him as a character in the last chapter. I don't think I've ever seen that out of a manga, though. If we have, make sure y'all let me know in the comment section below. I could be totally blanking right now. And it's crazy because I've read a lot of manga. This also reminds me of all the naysayers out there. Urana Sensei be tapped in low-key, but he was like, in Follow's hand, Rudo must have used his powers to... No, he didn't. And what's interesting about this is the tone that he takes with this, right? How he said it. Tomzy is always either chill, aggressively excited, or maniacal. It's rare that we see him get pissed off, and this was an instance where I was like, oh, he is mad. And then we get not only the chapter name reveal, which is cold as fuck by the way, but Follow's name being on his Jinky. I'm a fan of moments that really enhance what we already think of a character and then take it to the next level. Urana Sensei really made Follow feel like a character here. This arc was, in a way, a visual of things to come, because look at how excited and overjoyed that Follow is. Just imagine once Rudo is finally able to conquer the demons not only within himself, but the one in front of him. This arc really has me looking forward to all of the splendors that Urana Sensei is going to give us in the future. Like, bro, look at this panel. Follow looks so fucking cool here, bro. Holy shit. Follow goes through the motions of expressing his eternal gratitude to Rudo, letting him know that he's now able to fight by his side. I love the way she drew him here. While we know that this is dried blood, it also seems like he's breaking out of his shell, the shell of his former self. Such an interesting concept panel, bro. I really like this. Now, it could be the way that I'm interpreting it and she didn't mean it that way, but man, that's why art is so cool. Rudo lets him know that I didn't do a damn thing. It was your passion that made you a giver, Follow. All I did was believe that you could do it. We then move to the next page and we get Rudo being Rudo again, saying, but this doesn't mean I forgive you, okay? This shit reminded me of the Gross Sisters. Y'all remember Proud Family? The little sister that always had her hand out? Yeah, that one. Rudo was letting him know like, yeah, bro, you can enjoy your moment and shit, but we still gotta hash it out later. As they stance up against the house, we see Gris and the look in his eyes that are those of a proud dad. He's known everything that Follow has tried to become a giver, and to see him finally accomplish that goal, cinema. And Tone brings up the obvious, right? Saying that Follow is seriously injured, which I hope that when they finish this up, they take him back to HQ immediately. Like, sure, we gotta check in with the villagers to let them know that we took care of the trash beast, but man, we gotta floor to HQ and get him to Aishia's stat. Tomsy could not believe the shit that he was seeing. The whole scene really makes me think of the motherfuckers who've been talking shit this whole time. He said wounded head, abdomen, etc. Anyone can see that it is utterly impossible to battle with a giant hammer in that condition. If Rudo didn't do a damn thing, how was he moving? Well, that is a great question, Tomsy. So, for anyone who's in the know about Rudo's ability, y'all remember when Engine brought this up, it was during the Trash Storm arc, that he sometimes subconsciously transfers energy. I think Rudo is really serious when he says he didn't do anything because he himself doesn't realize what he's done, and the proof is in the pudding. It's funny because I ended up having to go back. This is like post me writing this. I ended up having to go make a thread on a video that I made yesterday, but I digress. Tomsy then says what everyone on Twitter was saying. The power of friendship? Ugh. That is so not what I'm looking for. High five, Rudana Sensei. Way to dunk on these idiots. Yeah. I mentioned it earlier, but the inner Tomsy thing is one of the coolest ideas I've seen in the manga. I already found it cool that he ended up betraying us in every fashion, but this inner world where he could speak freely is so sick. One of these times he's gonna slip up and that personality is gonna come out by accident and he's gonna sell himself out, which, to be honest, would be right up his alley. Anyway, the house fires a massive blast towards FOLLO and Rudo, and much to I think everyone's surprise, FOLLO blocked it. He has a shield on top of his hammer, and this is one of the coldest parts because he then explains his Jinky to us while also giving us a badass hero shot in the midst of it. He says, I lived my whole life worrying about what other people think. This is a representation of the shield, the persona he wore on the outside, taking all that shit from everyone. He said he didn't want to end up like that guy, so he smothered his feelings. He kept making excuses and let himself think he smoothed everything over. And this is when the real battle starts. He continues to explain more of the things that he felt, which led into the moments that I like to call hero shots. Hero shots are visually striking moments that often leave a powerful or lasting impact, which are usually done by the protagonist because it's supposed to be like the face of the moment. And as FOLLO pumps the brakes, he says, I'm done. I won't run anymore. And Jesus Christ, when I say I stood up and yelled to the heavens, dog, this shit was so sick. FOLLO blocks yet another blast from the house beast, and we then get an excerpt from Engine. He says, a Jinky's power is based on experience and ideology. So if you want to be a giver, you'll need to confront both your object and yourself, which, to be honest, and you guys know this, I'm just saying it for the people who didn't want to hear me. It's what I've been saying for, I don't know, like the last 2 months. FOLLO has stifled himself for years by not confronting his demons and being honest with himself. He then says, that's how I know how to use you. Hold in the stress, let it build, hold it all in, and what happens next? And just when we thought Rudo wasn't about to get any screen time because it's FOLLO time, this motherfucker comes in with a drop kick from the rafters on some WWE shit. That shit was sick, son. He then remembers what Rudo says as Rudo is kicking the shit out of this house beast. If you're gonna blow up at people, then do it. Go all the way. FOLLO's eyes lit up, and we get yet another hero shot of FOLLO raising the hammer. All of the moments that he mulled over, all of the emotions that he locked away, all exploding at this very moment, hitting on all cylinders. He's never wanted to acknowledge his friend, and we see that vividly through his backstory. It was always that guy, but we finally get his name, and that's Alan. This isn't gonna come up again, right? Rudana Sensei isn't going to create some dastardly plot where Tomsy finds this guy and dangles him in front of FOLLO during the Doll Festival, right? Right? Anyway, FOLLO bonks the house beast, and everyone, outside of Tomsy of course, looks in amazement as FOLLO then booms through the house beast looking like fucking Shinra from Fire Force. Holy Sensei mentioning moment. This was a fucking moment, bro. Let me tell you. I could not believe what the fuck I was reading. Rudana Sensei, like I said earlier in the video, man, I kneeled. This chapter was so well done that I stayed up all night, excited to see what the hell was gonna happen today. A couple of things that I would like to talk about before we close out though. One of them being, and it's gonna be a question I would more than likely get if I didn't bring this up, so Mr. Senpai, what happens now? I'd like to point out a few of the obvious routes we could go, and we can start off with what I proposed earlier in the video. We have to get FOLLO back to see Aishia immediately. Based on how Rudo's ability works, which I explained in detail in 2 of my recent videos, this shit is only temporary and will wear off as soon as it's done doing its job, which is right now being a life support for FOLLO. Of course, we have to say goodbye to the villagers and let them know that we've cleaned up shop and we're getting the hell out of Dodge. But no way Tomsy lets us off that easy, right? Which leads me into my second route, and the least likely to happen, because it would be trash, no pun intended. And that is Tomsy snapping and attempting to kill FOLLO in some haphazard way. Like I said, that shit is trash. But I do think Tomsy will have something, but that something will more than likely be during the Doll Festival. So what do you guys think will happen next? I'm interested to hear your theories on that topic. Don't forget to also tell me how you felt about the chapter in totality down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new. Thank you so much for the support, man. We are so close to 10,000 subscribers that I can practically taste it. Not really, but you get the point. Gonna try and get this video out as soon as I can, so that way I can finally sleep for the day. Was up getting things ready and emails prepped and sent out, all to end up being awake when the chapter dropped. Y'all enjoy y'all morning, afternoon, or night, wherever y'all are. I'm DomoSenpai, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.